I think I left this about a month and a half ago on some business around how I didn't like the political compass. I'm not going to touch that quite yet because I actually had some really interesting conversations with people about it, and I kind of need to synthesize a response. I just haven't had the time yet, but I wanted to welcome Steve Ferrugia to the morning warm-up fold where you chat for 5 minutes about something on your mind that hopefully is mature enough that you can be coherent, rather the thoughts themselves are mature. But anyway, well, what happens when you do a video about stuff is other people are going to respond to it. And so this is sort of my response. He talks about sort of innovation in the sort of techno-optimist manifesto set of people are complaining once again about stifling innovation. And I wanted to sort of add to it, to his remarks. And so, and I've done about stuff about innovation versus invention, and I just sort of quickly review about that. Innovation versus invention. So you can invent stuff by accident. Chocolate chip cookies are the sort of quintessential example of that. Penicillin would be the even more quintessential example. Whereas innovation is always done on purpose, but like invention is kind of has to do with method and figuring out how to do something, whereas innovation doesn't need to be how to do anything. You can sort of have a non-methodological innovation. But what an innovation is it solves a problem. And then we can sort of talk about the distinction between like what innovation entails versus what it represents. And by that, it's sort of like innovation as a process versus innovation as an outcome. Now, the sort of the techno-optimist set, really only cares about the latter, and they only care about the former to the extent that they can get to the latter. And what innovation represents is a information advantage, effectively. Like it represents a solved problem, and of course the process is actually solving the problem. And so the way you get really rich is you innovate once and then you sell that a billion times. And that's the way that an ordinary company works, though. The way that a VC works is you bet on a bunch of companies that they will innovate, and maybe 1 out of 20 does get into a position where they innovate and they can sell something a billion times. So like this information advantage, what like investors, the sort of finance bro types call alpha, is really sort of what innovation represents. A Schumpeterian profit is the sort of the technical term, which was coined by Nordhaus, who is famous for other stuff. Yeah, look that up. The idea, though, that like regulations are stifling innovation. Now, this is sort of an interesting kind of an idea, and this is sort of where I'm going to disagree with Steve a little bit, is that stifling is not a passive impediment. It's not a passive obstacle. Stifling is something that an agent does. Stifling is like smothering. It's like choking. And smothering is like a way to like kill something or someone who is much, much weaker than you. And so the image that these guys are painting with this notion of stifling innovation is that, the big bad, deep state is smothering us small little guys. I'm just this little guy I'm just trying to make my way in the world, and these guys are just getting in the way. So again, the way you get really rich is you figure out something, you get some alpha, and then you run that a billion times. And effectively, and this again sort of gets back to the invention versus innovation thing, is that they're trying to figure out how to do something. Because like business is all about methodology. It's all about how to do stuff. Like at the end of the day, like that's what profit and loss is. And what they're basically complaining about is that we want this to be the most convenient configuration for us, so that we can take these methodologies that we already know, run them a billion times, and and collect, and that's really the extent of it. That's also just disingenuous. Anyway, gonna finish my coffee.